Santana, Guns N' Roses, Chris Stapleton, and plenty more. Enter today at KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
You know how in sports, and your whole life just sports. And, I guess this just popped in my head, so I can't really think of an example, but there'll always be an athlete that comes up with one magical moment, right? They're kind of known for that.
Yeah.
When Muss had the clues for the Domino's pizza, that was the best he's ever. I was overcome with joy. I was thinking he's finally figured it out. I thought those clues were so good, and then it was all downhill from there. I think that was his high watermark, Tenneby. I really do. Alec Lewis is funny. He came in like, that's okay, no, we'll be fine. And then as the game went on, you could see that he's like, I said to him a couple times on the air, but kind of under my breath, I said, now you understand. Now you know why.
You're welcome to the NBA. Yes. You're welcome to Program Passer Invitational
exactly.
Moment.
Now you know why. And so,
when Musk gave the wrong answer and he flopped his forehead onto the microphone in front of him, that's when I knew it's over.
Yeah, it was dunzo, as we like to say. It did look like the Broad Squad was a bit flustered at first.
Well, it's a lot of. They're in a no-win situation when you're playing against Alec and specifically Musk.
Well, I wouldn't call it a no-win situation. A can't-lose situation. That's what I would probably call it. But there you go. Rosen out today, laryngitis, I think I was told. Probably cheering too much at that latest Wolves game from those courtside seats. Probably lost his voice. So he will more than likely return tomorrow. I'm out tomorrow. And you know that Oak is out as well?
I texted him last week,
Yeah, so you're not going to have any rock talk. What are your plans for tomorrow? Do you have any?
I have zero. I've reached out to a couple of people about guests, but haven't heard back. So as of right now, it's just assuming Rosen's back, it's Rosen.
Yeah, well, you'll figure it out.
But we'll have the Wolves to break down. We'll be previewing Game 5 for the Wild.
Let me ask you a question. Speaking of the Wolves, the other night they does that leave you any cause for concern that without Wembanyama, and he was out early in the second quarter, ejected from the game for elbowing Naz Reid in the head. And then, despite that fact, San Antonio looked like they were going to win that game. They had an 8-point lead with, it was 4 or 5 minutes to go in the game. They seemed to be in control of the game. The Wolves weren't shooting very well, and the Spurs were. And then all of a sudden that kind of changed, and the Wolves stole it from them. I go back and forth. Sometimes, you know how I am with what's happened in the past doesn't necessarily, and it doesn't. It doesn't indicate what's going to happen in the future. So I don't look like one individual game. Like, if you look at the Wild, for instance, the way they played in Game 3 was completely different than how they played in Game 4. And that was due maybe in large part to the way Colorado played, right? But I wonder if the Wolves... in other words, if the Spurs can play that well without Wembanyama, they've got a tall task to win tonight, especially in San Antonio, I think.
Yeah, I think we knew the Spurs weren't just a one-man team. Victor Wembanyama, I still think, long term, if you don't have Victor Wembanyama, it's going to be an uphill struggle for the Spurs, just because they have no one who can really replicate that. But they're a good team without him. They play well defensively.
They have 3 guards that are really good.
They're scrappy defensively. They made everything hard, and it didn't surprise me that the Wolves struggled with it, because that's kind of been their personality not only all year but the last couple of years. Right, when they play teams that don't have their star players in the lineup, they tend to play down. They tend to relax. I thought they relaxed, and then when they realized, we better get going, then they figured it out at the end.
We both have opined that we think they'll split the next 2 games and force a Game 7. Do you like the Spurs then in Game 7?
I think Spurs, I don't know about Game 7.
Yeah,
give me 2 games to watch before I make that prediction.
If you were going to press me right now, if I had to make a prediction now, I said this earlier, I think I would take the Spurs, but that's why they play the games, tend to be on the ice, the hard court, the field, whatever the case may be. We'll break. My friends over at BigDeck.com, they built me a big deck, and I've got a big deck. BigDeck.com. I got my deck on, and they can do the same for you too. And they bring you our our keyword for the National Cash Contest.
The Fan and BigDeck.com wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our National Cash Contest. Enter the keyword family at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is family. Enter now at KFAN.com.
The Common Man.
I've had, by the way, the Common Man program, couple 13-14 pass. I've had a couple people text the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line. They think they'd rather play the Spurs with Wemby than without him.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, that's
no. Did they watch Game 3?
Yeah, I guess not.
Because Wemby looked like the best player on the planet that day.
Yeah, that's a bit on the preposterous side. This is Dateline New York, Associated Press. Ronnie Bloom writes for the Associated Press. It says, negotiators for baseball players and owners began what figures to be a lengthy and acrimonious collective bargaining negotiations Tuesday to replace their labor agreement that expires December 1st, with management likely to propose a salary cap the union has vowed never to accept. An initial session of about 2 hours took place at the office of MLB Players Association, a 5-minute walk from MLB's headquarters in Manhattan's Rockefeller Center. The meeting lasted about 2 hours, was scheduled for initial presentations from each side on their view of the sport and its economics. No proposals were made. The sport's 5-year labor contract expires December 1st, and baseball commish Robbie Manfred has said repeatedly that management prefers off-season lockouts to in-season strikes, aiming to prevent the loss of regular season games. Some major league owners have said a salary cap system that also contains a floor is needed and would improve the sport. MLB, unlike the NFL, NBA, and NHL, has not had a cap system, but since 2003 has had a luxury tax designed to slow spending. Last summer, Manfred told the Baseball Writers Association of America, quote, when I talk to the players, I don't try to convince them that a salary cap system would be a good thing. I identify a problem in the media business and explain to them that owners need to change to address that problem. I then identify a second problem that we need to work together, and that is that there are fans in a lot of our markets who feel like we have a competitive balance problem. The union maintains a cap system decreases spending on players, while management argues a cap and a floor would benefit most players. And I bet both sides tend to be, the Players Association and Major League Baseball and the ownership group can make compelling, cogent, and convincing arguments for their side. You know, without the salary cap and a salary floor, I've still chided the Pohlads for not spending any money because, again, it's you can say it is unfair, you know, that teams can spend as much as they want, and the larger markets do accrue more money by their local television contracts. A TV/radio streaming, whatever, for a team based in any of the big three cities, New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, are more people to reach. Those contracts are worth more money. Hence, those teams have more money to spend on players. That's at the crux of it, I believe. But as I've always said, nothing in the rules prevents an ownership group from spending their own money from their other entities or businesses or however they have accumulated their wealth. So while it might be inherently unfair, those are the rules the way they are now. And I've always said, if you can't play with the big boys and you don't want to, like the Pohlads apparently never wanted to, there have been a handful of times they've had a payroll that's kind of flirting around the top 10, but usually they're in the middle to the bottom third, and they like to claim, well, we don't have the money that is not our personal fortune coming from whatever, they used to be the Coca-Cola bottling company, and they had Carousel Motors, and they're into, it was Wells Fargo banking, all the different places where they have their money. But that doesn't mean I'm against a salary cap or a floor. I think there probably should be. I can understand why the players don't like it either, because, when there is unlimited funds, then the very best players will they'll get in a bidding war with the other teams in the big markets, and they're going to get really big money. And then I think it does even benefit other players too, because but a small fraction of them, because there are other players that are in that next tier that are going to get paid a lot more because the Dodgers want them, the Mets want them, the Yankees want them, the bigger markets want them. But then you also have to remember there's only so many roster spots on a team too, right? So it's not like if you take, 25, 26 players on a roster. And so if you have like 8 to 10 very wealthy teams, you do the math. How many players is that? There's still a lot of other spots to fill where they're not getting as much money. There's the disparity against the players that are getting huge contracts and the rest of it. Look at like the Twins. If you pulled up their roster with their salaries, I don't even know if it's available. I think you can find it somewhere. I would be willing to bet that maybe upwards of half or more are making the major league minimum, or slightly more than that. That's what they're making. And so
on their current active payroll, and obviously this is with Pablo Lopez hurt, so that would be a difference. But on the current active payroll, Byron Buxton leads the team with $15.1 million.
So there you go.
The next guy is Ryan Jeffers at 6.7.
So there you go.
But yeah, I mean, they have, half the team, more than half the team making under $1 million.
Yes. And that's, that ain't going to get you to the grave, foo. But at the same time, the disparity, and you get what you pay for, right, Teneby? There's a reason those guys are making the major league minimum or under $1 million, because it's not that they don't have some talent. They're just not top-tier players, or at least have not been around long enough to prove themselves as top-tier players. Some of those guys, some of our younger guys, the Keyshaw character, and the Keyshaw character, and the Keyshaw character, and the Brooks Leeses of the world, maybe these guys can elevate themselves to the point where it's like, this guy's worth $10, $12, $15 million a year. That's what he's worth, maybe more. But until they get to that point, that's what it's going to be. So I'd be, I'm generally I'm more of an employee than I am ownership person. And maybe that's because I've never had ownership in anything, right? And it's some of the rich get richer, that whole thing. It's not that I feel sorry for these guys, because even making under $1 million a year, you're making pretty good money playing a kid's game, and it's a great way to. A lot of guys would rather do that than I'd rather make $800,000 playing baseball than making double that, working as a white collar job of some sort, playing baseball instead. Hell yeah, I'll take that. But So I'm usually on the side of the worker ants, though these really aren't ants. But I think a salary cap and a salary floor, especially a floor, is needed.
I think it's desperately needed. The problem is, I think they should have done this a long time ago. And now they've gone too far, right? The gap between the least payroll team and the highest payroll team is so significant.
Correct.
That how do you now squish this into a doable cap and floor? You can't, right? Like the NHL, for instance, like their cap and floor is basically like $20-25 million apart, right? Like you're I think for this season, the floor is $70.6 million and the cap is 95.5. So they're relatively close.
Yeah, they are.
In Major League Baseball, the team. And I already went away from the page, so I went to go look at your.
Some are aren't some of these teams? So, the Mets are almost $400 million, aren't they?
So the New York Mets are at $334 million this season. Miami, which is last, is at 78.3. So like, how do you?
You can't.
So you can't do a floor, because now teams like Miami are gonna be like, oh, what? You're gonna make the floor 120, 140? We can't afford that. And then the teams that have already committed so much money, like the Dodgers and Mets, thinking they were doing it under this format, when all of a sudden you have to cut that back, and I don't think you can go back far enough. So even your next cap and your floor would still be, I think, significantly apart from each other.
Yeah.
So they waited too long to do this. They should have done this
Well,
20, 30 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Well, and particularly because it is hard for it. You'd be asking, I guess, if you did lower that, because would you say, well, I guess the ceiling's 330 because that's what the Mets are spending, and like you say, the lower, the smaller market teams aren't going to be able. The
range is too big, and you can't just say, hey, our cap is now $200 million because those teams have already committed X amount of dollars to those players.
Yeah, and it'd be hard to look at Ohtani or any of these guys making the big ones and say, we're going to cut your salary by about half of what you were making.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, I don't think you can. So
you would almost have to say, hey, we are changing the salary cap and floor starting 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Right? You'd have to go that far out in advance.
I think you're right. We'll take one last break, come back with one more segment to go here on the Common Man program along with 10 to B right here on we affectionately call FM 100.3 The Fan.
Common and Corey Cove take on Kevin Gorg and Audra Martin Friday at 1:30 p.m. in the Program Password Invitational on...
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is 10 to B. One more segment to go. I'm out tomorrow. Client-related visit. Well, there'll be some golf mixed in, too, but client-related 10 to B here. Mark Rosen should make his triumphant return. No Rock Talk tomorrow. Brian Oak is out. And then back to your regularly scheduled programming on Thursday, 10 to B, Common Man, and then Mark Rosen. Scheduled for 2 o'clock. More Program Password on Friday. It will be more quarterfinal action. It will be Common and Cove against Audra Martin and
Kevin Gorg.
So that will be on Friday, and we're that time is still fluid. We want to start it now at what time?
I had it at 1:30. Audra works TV for the Twins. The Twins moved their game up that day, I think, because of the Timberwolves game start time.
Okay.
So they moved it up an hour. Therefore, what Audra has to do at the stadium got moved up.
Okay.
So I think she just wants to move it up like 15 minutes. So I think we're just going to do it at 1:15 instead of 1:30.
That's not too.
And therefore, Lil B then will come in 12:30 to 1:15.
I like it
on Friday.
I like it. That should all work out real well. A number of people have texted the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line to talk about Major League. The new working agreement. What do they call it again? Between the
arbitration.
But the Major League Baseball agreement between players and owners, whatever they call it. Someone writes, and I think they're right. This is not only everything we've talked about, but what could you possibly do with the contracts like Ohtani, where so much of it is deferred so far down the road? That's another problem. I mean, that's why it's going to be very complicated. Collective bargaining agreement is the word I was looking for. Thank you. Collective bargaining agreement. David Fisher writes for the Associated Press. He writes about the courts and law in order, even if it involves sports celebrities. This is Dateline, Stuart, Florida. Tiger Woods' prescription drug records will be handed over to prosecutors following his March arrest in Florida on suspicion of driving under the influence. A judge made that ruling earlier today. Judge Darren Steele approved an agreement between Woods' defense attorney and prosecutors following a 4-minute hearing in Martin County Circuit Court. Prosecutors had issued a subpoena seeking copies of all prescription medication records for the legendary golfer at a Palm Beach pharmacy from the start of the year through the end of March. Defense attorney Doug Duncan had previously argued that Woods has a constitutional right to privacy when it comes to his prescription medications, but he acknowledged during the hearing that the right is not absolute and that prosecutors could make compelling arguments for why they were needed. Meanwhile, prosecutors agreed to Duncan's request for a protective order limiting the release of records only to prosecutors, law enforcement officers, state experts, and Woods' defense team. Bob Jarvis, who's a law professor at Nova Southeastern University, who's not connected to the case, said the agreement of the judge's approval seems normal for DUI case, particularly one that involves drugs instead of alcohol. So, and Woods continues with his treatment in somewhere in Europe. I'm not sure if anybody knows exactly where it is. I believe it's in Europe. And during Tee to Green this past Saturday, we had Jim Nugent, who is the publisher for Global Golf Post. Global Golf Post is a online, it's free, it covers golf, pros, collegiate, women's, men's, amateurs, everything. For the serious golfer. He says that what he's been told is this treatment thing isn't, and it wasn't imposed by a court. He did this voluntarily. But the word is, this isn't weeks, this is going to be months, that he really needs to tear down and to take a long, hard look at himself and figure things out. So there are many who thought Woods would attempt to try to play in the U.S. Senior Open because of those USGA Opens. He's won, the U.S. Open. He's won the Junior. There's in the amateur. He's won like three of the four that you can win, and that the senior one. And he had declared. I think he had actually put his name in as joining the tour, signed up for the event, and it did not. That doesn't look like it's going to happen now. Aronimink is the site of this week's PGA Championship, Tennessee. It's only the second time it's ever hosted a major. I think it was the U.S. Open back in '62 that Gary Player won. More than the tournament itself, the interest I have in it is what the Power Trip members will do when they pick who they think are going to win. That's really that fascinates me, and really it draws me into professional golf more than anything. I think I'm willing to say this: the Power Trip betting on the four majors has done more for the game of golf than Tiger Woods has. What your thoughts?
I always love that one.
You know how they have like those content creator tournaments now?
Yes.
Right. Your YouTube, they have them both nationally and locally now. The Power Trip guys should be in those tournaments with the amount of new fans they've brought to the sport of golf.
I couldn't
agree
with
how much
you
they've
more.
grown the game.
Yeah, they have grown the game, and I look forward to that. And they'll do that. What's the name of the place? They do it on tomorrow, right? They'll do that during the 8 o'clock hour, I guess?
Yeah. I had even kind of forgotten that there was a PGA Championship until this week.
You had forgotten?
Yeah, I did. After the Masters, and yeah, you just there hasn't been a whole lot of hype. I'm not watching Golf Channel. Maybe that's what you're on all the time. But
yeah, well, I'm not.
I feel like there hasn't been a whole lot of hype for this tournament.
I think you've just been busy with kids. But,
well, probably.
That's probably.
Maybe I've been too much involved with the Wild and Wolves.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it as well. I wish I could find the story I had. PGA champion, there were 10 courses mentioned in a story. Maybe I sent it to baby brother Peter and I didn't save it for myself. They were naming 10 of the 10 courses that have here it is, top 10 courses. I got it. Here it is. Hold on. Top 10 courses that have hosted one and only one major Tennessee, and Aronimink is one of them. Hold on, I got it here, right here. I can tell you about the golf course a little bit. Aronimink. Baltusrol. I can't believe Baltusrol only held one. Oh, forget that. Forget Aronimink. Interlaken is mentioned in the story.
Huh.
Everybody loves a good comeback. Witness Interlaken Country Club in suburban Minneapolis. Originally a William Watson design from 1911, Interlaken completely redesigned in 1919 by Donald Ross. It achieved early renown as the venue for the 1930 U.S. Open when Bobby Jones, in his Grand Slam year, when Gene Sarazen declared that among championship layouts, only Oakmont was tougher. So Interlaken has also hosted the 93 Walker Cup, the 2002 Solheim Cup, and the 2008 U.S. Women's Open. They're also vying for another U.S. Women's Open. They want to have another one, but I think what the USGA said was your course just isn't tough enough anymore. I mean, it's tough for guys like you and me.
Yeah. But
for the best women player in the world, it wasn't tough enough. So they underwent. Interlaken was voted the best renovation in 2025. I mean, Tennessee, if you played Interlaken,
played it once.
Okay, you wouldn't recognize the place. Now, I mean, you know the routing if you remember which directions the hole went, but every hole is completely different. Green complexes have been changed. New bunkering eliminated. New bunkering put in. It's a masterpiece. It really, truly is. And you would like it because I think they have an indoor rink with a. I
thought you were going to say because they had wider fairways.
Well,
now.
no, they have an indoor rink where they actually have a Zamboni.
Really?
So they got everything they need over.
I would love to do that. Question for you.
Yeah.
Random question.
Okay.
Other than Hazeltine and TPC Twin Cities,
yeah,
which golf course in the state of Minnesota would be best set up to host a major golf tournament? Not that they want to do it, not that they want to put the work into doing it, but in terms of difficulty of the course, layout of the course, infrastructure, what would be the best opportunity?
I don't think there is one. I really don't. I mean,
Windsong?
Well, yeah, you could say Windsong. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. When you say infrastructure, I just don't, I suppose you could throw up a lot of, the reason they like Hazeltine so much is because there's so much land for corporate. It's a big, brawny golf course that eats up a lot of property that has plenty of room for corporate tents. And the other thing is the parking that they have there they have more on-site parking at Hazeltine than I think probably than any other major venue.
Everyone else you're shuttling in.
Yeah. Then I'm serious, maybe than any other golf course in the country. So that's what they like. It, and I just don't know any. Like Windsong Farm is tough for guys like you and me.
Yeah.
And, and other courses. And I'm not saying that it can't be toughened up for guys like that, but still, I think you're talking, is it 7,000 yards, 71? These guys need to be challenged by 75 and 7,600 yards. So that's the first thing you have to do is you got to get your golf course up to 70. And Hazeltine's been able to do that from the back tees at Hazeltine. I think it plays 76. And I think they could even push it back more. They might even have 7,800 there, which is what they need until they roll back the ball. And the players don't want to roll back the ball. Some manufacturers don't want to roll back the ball, but I don't know where you stand. It's controversial. I shouldn't even be talking about this. This is more of a tee to green weekend show, so we don't get any complaints. But watching guys hit drive or wedge to every green doesn't do a lot for me after a while. It's like that's why they grow up the roughs in so many places, But these guys can just overpower these golf courses, so the longer they are, the better. So, Tennessee, my guess is when the power trip, I'm fascinated with the power trip bets. Okay. Scotty, they always have one player that you can't select.
The ghost,
and that'll be Scotty, right? If Rosen's got the first pick, who will he be forced to take, do you think?
He'll do Rory.
You think he'll do Rory? Forced to take Rory. There's worse picks that you could make. It'd be astonishing if he won. I shouldn't say astonishing. I know Scheffler's the number one ranked player in the world. You could make an argument that Rory is the best player in the world. He's among the top 2 or 3, right? But to capture the career Grand Slam last year and then grab a repeat of the Masters this year, only the 4th player to ever do it, and then win another major right after that. That's some people are throwing out a lot of golf courses, including Chaska Town Course and Stone Ridge. Those are both difficult golf courses. Stone Ridge is really hard.
Never played either.
For a chop like me, Stone Ridge is really hard. It's a great golf course designed by Bobby Weed, who is a architect. I think he's out of North Carolina. Oh, I've recanted this tale before, Tennessee. When they were first opening up Stone, they were still building Stone Ridge, and Matt Vandelak was a head pro, and he says, "Common, you got to come out here and see this golf course. This is the greatest thing you're ever going to see." So I go out there. Bobby Weed is the architect. He's on property. We go down to meet him. He's talking to his shaper, the guy that drives the bulldozer that carves the mounds and the greens and all that. And when you think about golf courses and blueprints and everything's to the yard of earth, right? he's drawing a map on the top of a donut box of what he wants them to do on the golf course, and whatever it is he wanted them to do, he did that. Somebody said Troy Byrne. Troy Byrne held a nation.
Not Minnesota.
Yeah, well, but close enough.
Yeah.
It's still, I think it's part of the Minnesota section of the PGA, I think. Troy Byrne hosted the Nationwide. That was, I don't know when, I know Nationwide is on your side. I know that. But what I don't recall is Korn Ferry is now the AAA, it's the mini tour, right? And I think Nationwide at one time was the Korn Ferry tour before, they changed sponsors. Nationwide got out. Now it's Korn Ferry. They held it out at Troy Byrne at least once. And I tend to be, a whole multicolored galaxy of uppers and downers and screamers and laughers has faded my memory. But we did tee to green out there when the event was out there. And I interviewed a young unknown Brent. Is it Brent Snedeker?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just he wasn't even on the regular tour yet, and we had him on, and lo and behold, he went on to be. Someone else just said Tennessee. How about Chamonix or Como? I don't think Como. I just don't think has the infrastructure. That's the thing. I don't think you can get enough people out there with the corporate tents. But it's a dangerous.
I would love to know what Scotty Scheffler would shoot at Como. Is he breaking 60, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or what's the par there?
It's 70.
Oh, yeah. He's maybe breaking 55.
Well, yeah. Well, it's the par. Almost all the par fours are drivable. There's no trouble really anywhere. For guys like you and me. Oh, I used to play Como all the time. I love the golf course.
No, I like playing there. It's fun.
It's a ton of fun. But yeah, I think it's 5,500 yards from the tips.
It's a good starter course.
Do you ever go there, Tennessee, and say you want to tip it out at Como? Because sometimes you go to a golf course, your buddies will look at you and go, you want to tip it out today? Go all the way to the back. 6,800 yards is pretty long. If you go, you want to tip it out at Como, you're going to 5,500 yards.
Right now, Samson, my 9-year-old, we're just doing par 3 courses, but once we graduate from the par 3 course, I think Como's a great spot to go to.
It's a great. Here's what I'll tell you, Tennessee, and you know this already. When your boy decides he wants to start playing golf, you got a built-in excuse to go golf. Like, I got to take him golfing. You go to your wife and you go, what are you guys going to do? Well, he wants to go golfing again, so I guess we got to play Saturday. And then he wants to play Sunday also. And then
let's play 36.
And then he wants to play Monday afternoon. And so I guess I just got to.
He wants to go on a golf trip. He said he wants to go to Augusta.
Yeah, he wants to go to Aronimink. I just like saying Aronimink more than anything else. And then, well, your wife Leo it's her little baby. Whatever Leo wants, she wants Leo to be happy. And if Leo wants to play golf with Dad, then guess what? Play golf with Dad.
Leo despises golf. What? But Samson.
Oh, Samson.
Why
did Leo despise?
Oh, he hates it.
You know what? He does now, but he'll like it later. They all turn to it. Well, baby brother Peter and his buddy Jackson, I've been taking them golfing all this week. They're both back from college, right? They're both going into their senior years. Pete's going on a internship, and they both wish they go, gosh, maybe instead of basketball, we should have played golf instead. And they both wish they would have played.
I wish
golf.
I would have played young when I was younger. Yeah,
they wish they would have played golf in high school as well. You can do basketball and golf, but they played basketball year round. Track, AAU, high school, the whole thing, and they wish they wouldn't have. But
one other golf topic, by the way, I think kind of got lost in the shuffle with all everything with the Wolves and Wild and everything got going on.
Yeah.
The Truist. I know Alex Fitzpatrick didn't win, but that would have been a heck of a story for a guy that didn't even have a tour card.
That's correct.
His brother helped him win a tour card.
That is correct.
And then he was the leader through 3 rounds and had a chance there on the final day. That would have been an awesome story.
Yeah, it would have indeed.
Couldn't finish it, but
we should go play Como.
Let's do it.
You're never going to get out again. You never get to play golf anymore. You haven't played this year yet, have you?
I'm going to Dallas in a week and a half from now, just a Saturday, Sunday trip to go down and play some golf.
Oh, yeah, you have a pal down there that plays golf, right?
Once I think school's out, because I have to get the kids on the bus every morning.
Yeah.
And that's 8:45. Once school's out and we can drop them all off the same spot, it might be a little easier every once in a while.
I get out occasionally. I've always got room for you, Tenneby. You know that. I've always got room for you.
Well, and actually, last week when we did Program Password, and you had some company in there.
Yes.
The man who was in there, who I know, he goes, "Hey, I'd love to have you and Common out at Midland sometime."
Well, you know what? We hit it off really well. I really liked him a lot. He's at Midland?
Yeah, he's at Midland.
Well, they did a complete renovation at Midland. Don Berry, head golf professional at Edinburgh, USA. He's the 13, 14 time, actually more than that, PGA, Minnesota section of the PGA. He said it's spectacular. He said it's really good. So you know what, Tenneby?
You take him up on that offer?
I'm available.